Welcome to rSlash Best of Redditor updates, where OP's house guest kicks OP out of his own home and then tries to steal his home. Our next Reddit post comes from rSlash Legal Advice UK. Hi there. This is a really weird one, but to cut a long story short, my brother moved in with me at the start of the lockdown because he was living in hotels for some reason. I recently found out that this was because he owes around £260,000 in debts to a multitude of small businesses for various reasons. A lot of these cases have gone to the high court, and he's being actively pursued by bailiffs. When he moved in, he was relatively normal, but vague about why he was living in hotels. Then, as lockdown continued, he started to get more and more obsessed with these freemen on the land / common law types, which has led to some major disputes like saying that he doesn't have to wear a mask because he's not a subject of the crown, but the Corwellian Lord Protectorship, and trying to annex land from the fields behind our house because apparently you can claim lands by throwing a hatchet at 4 corners. I think this is one of those, what are they called in America? There's a name for these people. Oh God, what are they called? Sovereign citizen, that's right. So for those who don't know, because this is kind of fringe, there's a group of people in the US called sovereign citizens, and I guess in the UK they're called freemen on the land, who believe that because of some long outdated law that they found on Facebook, they can basically just declare that certain laws don't apply to them, and they can use these weird loopholes to just obtain land from people. But of course it's completely wrong. They're just not correct. The world doesn't work that way. Well, recently the bailiff somehow caught up with him, and they were pretty nice guys. They explained everything to me, but he said that he wouldn't pay them even if he had all the money in cash, so they took his car. Ever since this, my brother has been furious with me, so we started avoiding each other around the house. This weekend, I went away for a mini break on the coast, and I came back to find all the locks had been changed and the windows boarded up. My garden furniture was nowhere to be seen. I called my brother, who basically explained that because the house was unclaimed, he had made a de facto eviction of me from the house, which made him the sole owner, and if I attempted to make entry, then he would have every right to kill me under the provision that an Englishman's home is his castle. I'm staying with my parents, which isn't ideal because they should be quarantining, so I went on a mini break. But when I contacted the cops, I was told that as a tenant, he had every right to change the locks. I am dead confused. Any help is very much appreciated. And then OP posted an update. I managed to get back in the house, and luckily all my stuff is still there and nothing's been trashed. However, there are tons of Domino's pizza boxes in the kitchen. Apparently, he had contacted the bank trying to access my accounts. Then, he spent all of the money that he had saved up on pizzas and celebrations, so now he's both homeless and has no money. I spoke to my dad's lawyer, and he basically picked apart literally every bit of this common law BS, and we called the cops. Again, they stonewalled us, saying that tenants can change the locks and we had to get an eviction order. My lawyer explained the situation to the cops about how he was a guest and evicted me. The cops' response was literally, "I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. You have to take this up with the housing authority because it's a civil matter, not a criminal one." Well, my lawyer basically said that police aren't going to help, so we can either go for a court order or try and get bailiffs now. I went for option number 2 because I need him out of my home ASAP, and they said this would be pretty easy. So bailiffs turned up with a locksmith. I don't know exactly what happened because me and my lawyer were waiting around the corner, but I do know that the cops were called and he got carted off. I assumed that would be the end of it now, but he's been contacting my parents saying that he's the rightful owner of the house now and that he just needed some time to get back on his feet. Well, because of this, they basically disowned him, so it looks like he kinda screwed himself. And I assume the cops let him back out onto the streets, so I'm going to have to be very careful, but I hope he just sods off. Man, I don't know much about UK legal laws or whatever, but how can a guest in your home kick you out of your home, change the locks, and then say, "I officially own this home under British law"? And the cops are like, "Nothing we can do. Looks fine to me. No problem here." What? Our next Reddit post is from Throwaway Mom and was posted in r/True Off My Chest. Heads up on this next story, it's got domestic abuse. I'm leaving him. This is the last effing straw. I worked a long 10-hour shift, came home, and there was trash and food everywhere. My 8-year-old son runs up to me, covered in stains and baby formula, saying, "Sister is crying real bad. She's hungry. I'm sorry, I tried to feed her." I rush to the nursery, and sure enough, my daughter's diaper is full. She's screaming and crying with her face red. She's literally still in her crib. The room is messy with baby formula and chips. I later learned from my son that he had tried to make a bottle for her but didn't know how. So he tried to feed her potato chips to calm her down, but she couldn't eat them. He'd been trying to open the door to my and my husband's bedroom. It was locked the whole time, with my husband in there sleeping. I asked my son if he ate, and he said not really, just chips, and he tried to take all the food out of the fridge to make something to eat. After feeding and changing my 6 months old, the baby is 6 months old, I literally almost teared that bedroom door down trying to get him to open it. And he opens the door all groggy and says, "What do you want?" Clearly annoyed. I tear him a new one and scream at him that our kids haven't eaten all day because his lazy self couldn't wake up and care for them. He just stares at me dumbfounded and is like, "Oh, my bad. I thought they ate before you went to work." I'm crying at this point. He stayed up all night playing video games and promised that he would wake up and stay up for the kids. I should have known better. I told him that I was not going to get our kids taken away because of him and that we are over. I'm shaking. I've literally never been so mad in my life. All he can say is, "Sorry." I don't know where I'm going to go, but I have to leave. I hugged my son, told him that he did his best, and I was proud of him for taking care of his sister. I'm so sad that he even had to do that. Man, this story is giving me anxiety. Grown adults would struggle going 10 hours without going to the bathroom or eating. This is a 6-month-old baby that went 10 hours without changing its diaper or feeding it. Oh, geez. And then OP posted an update. I asked my husband to leave the apartment. We're both technically on the lease, but I really didn't care at that point. I said that he needed to leave, or I'd tell the cops that he failed to care for our 2 kids. He got super angry with me, said that it was a mistake and that it wouldn't happen again. I said that I didn't care. Pack your stuff and go stay with your dad. Needless to say, after some intense arguing, he went on a rampage and destroyed stuff around the apartment. TV, dishes, mirrors. He made a complete mess of our bedroom and living room. I just let him. I was recording everything anyways. My son came out asking what's going on, and I told him to lock himself in the nursery with his sister. I didn't think that he would try to do anything to them, but I've read way too many stories. I had to stop recording to call the cops. I yelled at him to calm down because the cops were on their way, and I told him that I would say that he put his hands on me and that I had to fight him off. I apologize if this is triggering at all. I'm trying to water it down. He did get arrested, and me, my son, and my daughter are relatively unharmed. I just have some light bruises on my arm. My mom is taking the kids so I can attempt to get the apartment cleaned and replace what I can afford. I'm sorry this isn't the happy ending that all of you wanted. I felt as though it was important to update since so many of you were worried, but we're fine. My son has been oddly quiet, and I feel awful. Hopefully I can take him out for a treat or something soon when I get this mess sorted out. Man. Oh, man. Even if this douchebag husband was right, "Oh, I thought that you fed the baby before you left," that was 10 hours ago. So even if she had fed them, that's still 10 freaking hours where a 6-month-old baby hasn't eaten anything. This is straight up child abuse. And to make things worse, he kept the bedroom door locked on his kids for 10 hours? What if there was an emergency or a fire or something? This story gives me anxiety, man. OP, I'm glad you're out of this relationship. Your husband is a garbage human being. Our next Reddit post comes from rSlash Am I the Butthole? Am I the butthole for making my girlfriend leave the country? I'm a 28-year-old guy, and I've been dating my girlfriend, who's 27, for 5 years. We met in college where she was an international student. She started working after graduating while I'm currently doing a master's. Her company was sponsoring her visa until they got bought out and she got laid off. She was given a limited time to find a new employer to sponsor her a new visa, and it really stressed her out. She was applying to jobs every day and did a lot of interviews, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to get an offer. She really wanted to stay since she loves this place and I would still be here in this country. While I was out with a buddy, he suggested that I sponsor her visa since we'd been in a relationship for quite some time. I love her and I didn't want to see her so stressed out, so I told her about the idea. She was hesitant at first. She said that she didn't want me to think that she was with me so that I could be her way to a permanent citizenship to the country. I wanted her to stay and I wanted to do it. We talked to an immigration consultant and decided to do the paperwork on our own. She was the one who mostly looked into the stuff that we had to prepare. She still applied for jobs, but not as urgently as she used to. I had to fill out some paperwork to be her sponsor, and I felt uneasy about it. I did want her to stay, but I felt like it was too much. Eventually, she was done with her part, and all that was left was mine. I finally told her that I didn't want to go through with it. She was very upset and asked why. I told her that I suggested the idea because I didn't want to see her stressed out all the time, and that I eventually realized that I shouldn't have to be responsible for her. We had a long talk where I told her that I still want to be in a relationship with her, but I just don't want to be forced to be responsible for her. She said that she felt very hurt by what I said. Things changed and she didn't really talk to me after that. She kept applying for jobs and attending interviews, but eventually her visa expired. Before she left, I told her that I love her and that I would really want her to come back. However, she told me that she sees me differently after the things that I told her. It's been a few weeks since she left. I miss her cooking, her presence, and being able to spend time with her. I still want a future with her. However, our close friends have been telling me that I was a butthole. I disagree and I think that they're biased. So here I am asking what Reddit thinks. Am I the butthole? Alright, OP, since this was posted on r/slash am I the butthole, I'm gonna give you a really quick butthole score. Yes, you are the butthole because you essentially rug pulled your girlfriend. You said to your girlfriend, "Don't worry, I will be your safety net." And then when she was most relying on you to be there for her safety net, you pulled out at the last minute, leaving her to inevitably fail. So for that, I'm giving you 3.5 out of 5 buttholes. And then OP posted an update. I talked to her over the weekend. She didn't have time to sell her car before leaving, so she contacted me saying that she did some paperwork to transfer the car to me. I do understand that she felt hurt, so I told her that I would buy a plane ticket to go see her. She had never once went back to her home country after moving away, so I've never visited her home country. I wanted to show her that I'm very serious about her and that I'm still committed, so I wanted to fly over to visit and talk things out. She immediately turned me down, saying that flight tickets are expensive and that I still have to work. I begged her to let me, and she eventually said that she couldn't forget the stuff that happened and that she couldn't come back from it. I explained my side again, and that while I understand that she's hurt, I shouldn't be forced to take responsibility for her, and that I hope that she would be understanding of that. The conversation was long. She said that I never saw a future with her from the start and that I abandoned her. She said that it wasn't about the sponsorship, but it played a big part in it. In the end, she told me that she loved me, but she doesn't think that we should be together. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I agree with the girl here. Because, that's what relationships are. You are responsible for each other. Okay, what if she did get the visa and then she was, I don't know, in a car wreck or lost all her money and she had to be supported for a couple of months while she found a new job or something like that? The way that you're acting makes me think that you would just leave her immediately and be like, not my problem. Good luck. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. And then OP posted an update. A couple of weeks ago, I received a sum of money from my ex-girlfriend. This happened while I was sleeping because we were in different time zones, so I only saw it when I woke up. The message included with the deposit said, "Hope this helps pay off some student loans." It wasn't a huge sum, but it was still significant, so I tried to contact her, but I couldn't reach her. Fast forward to last week, a mutual friend of ours wanted to check up on her to see how she was doing, but they couldn't reach her either. They Google searched her name and the country she was in, and through Google Translate, they found out that she had unalived herself. No one knows exactly when she died, but it was most probably soon after she sent me the money, and no one could find anything about a funeral either. She wasn't close to her family, and she didn't have many family members in her country. Other friends found out about it too, and since then, everyone's been blaming me for her death. Obviously, I'm devastated by it too. However, I think that it's unfair for people to say that I'm the reason that she killed herself or that I could have helped her. She's had depression before when we were dating, and I've always managed to get her to get over it, but problems still did come up from time to time. She was also the one who broke up with me after I tried to make things work. This incident has very negatively impacted my relationship with my friends because I work with some of them in school. Some very close friends have also stopped talking to me. What do I do? How do I convince them that it wasn't my fault? And how do I get my friends to treat me normally again? Wow, this guy is utterly spineless. Why does this whole story from start to finish have this underlying feeling of, but it's not fair? And you know what I find interesting in this story is OP said that his girlfriend transferred over her car to him. Now, if my girlfriend did that to me after she got deported, then I would sell the car and then send the money to her because it's her car, right? But OP mysteriously forgot to mention that. Is that because he always intended to keep the money, to keep the car? That was r/Bestof Redditor updates, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.